Hello and welcome. Thank you for watching our presentation today. The law offices of McLaughlin and Associates and McLaughlin Mediation and Consulting focus on helping small to mid-sized businesses grow and thrive. You started your business because of your passion. Let us help you with that vision. We offer a variety of legal and human resources services. Check out our website for more details at www.ma-lawpc.com. And now, on to our presentation.
All right, so then the next one I want to talk about is the disproportionate assets used for a family member. So those take the child that's bailed out financially, which would be kind of the primary one, that you have the one child who they just always have to be helped out by mom or dad. Unpaid loans, that goes both ways. So you could have the loans that were made, for example, someone wants to buy a house or a business and mom or dad gives them the money on a loan basis. Or it could go the other way. Mom or dad got into a rough situation. One of the, maybe a child is actually pretty well to do and they said, I'm going to give $100,000 so that you can get out from this situation, but it's not documented. Okay, so these are the loan situations where there's a sense that money is owed but not really accounted for. It can be usually worked out if people know what's going on. So really the first line of attack is not to attack the legalities of it, but is if equitably everybody understood what was going on, yeah, you know what, mom or dad really did need help and you did step up, or we understand that they gave you money for school or they gave you money for business. Can you just make good? You know what, I can't do it right now. If you can give me a couple years, take it out of my share of the estate or whatever. That gets back to that family settlement situation where you can kind of work it out. And the thing is that at the bottom line it says the trust issues are not going to go away, but you can avoid that bad blood. Because like I said, if there's a legitimate reason why things occurred, because let's face it, even siblings, as much as you may, whatever you think about a sibling, let's say that you think that that's a ne'er-do-well sibling and they've never done anything right. Fundamentally, most people love their siblings, or at least they don't want harm to come to them, okay? And so it allows you to set that aside and sit down and say, okay, look, I'm not happy that this is, excuse me, how your life went on. I'm not happy that you're doing this, but I get it. And let's work out something that we can kind of just go our separate ways. All right, so let's go to the next one. Okay. So in litigation, they arise as a claim against the beneficiary or a claim against the estate. So at its most basic, what would happen is someone would say, you owe me money. It would be claimed to be a loan of some sort, right? So that's the only way you can do a claim. It can't be a gift. If someone gifted me money, then it's just a gift. So it has to be you borrowed money, and so therefore you got to pay it back. Money given without a loan are assumed a gift absent undue influence. Excuse me. So if someone gave someone $50,000 to pay off a credit card debt and it wasn't documented in any way, that didn't transform into a loan. That was just money given, okay? So there has to be something more to it. And it's not just because someone says, I promise I'll pay it back. That's usually not going to hold up. Why? Because there's a question of consideration being given, right? You know, what was given up for whatever, what was understood. So what I say is, of course, you have to document your loans. So if you're going to give money to someone for a house or for a business or whatever, just do a simple promissory note and more than likely secure it with the asset itself so that later on, if there's an issue, they can say, well, no, we had a documented loan, it was understood, and then you can work it out. So the written contracts, if there is in fact a promissory note, then it can be enforced like a breach of contract. And again, it's very easy to do, right? You just look at the terms of it and what was supposed to be done. It gets complicated when you talk about eviction issues. So this happens quite frequently where someone is either living with the parent or they move in right after the parent passes away to take care of the house. And the taking care of the house happens for 3 years. And rent-free and utility-free, right? That happens all the time. But it's not enough to suddenly make a call in the middle of the night and say, you got to get out of there, you no good bum. Because once someone stays in a position for a period of time, they do end up having certain renters' rights. And so you usually have to go through eviction. It would be the executor of an estate or it would be a trustee who would try to get them out. And you can't do the self-help. So for example, you can't go in and say, I'm going to throw your junk out on the street if you don't get out, because self-help is illegal in the state of Illinois. You can be held liable for whatever damage that you cause, okay? And it gets complicated when someone's been living in a house for a couple of years. Whose people's stuff? I've been sleeping in his bed for 2 years. Is it my bed? Was it mom or dad's bed? So that gets very complicated. Yeah. Okay. So again, this is one where a mediation type of setting would be a good one. So one, you want to control costs. Why? Because you have limited assets. Normally, when you're talking about it, you're talking about a bill that's owed, some loan. It could be the real estate. You want to get them out. It's a way you can usually sit down in a half a day or day and you can just say, what do you need? What if the person says, hey, look, I'm living there with my 2 kids and it's November and I have nowhere to go over Christmas. So can you give me till the summertime? So at least I can get them out of school and we can relocate. That doesn't seem like an unreasonable request, right? But there's some logic to that. You can sit down and say, okay, then you go to the other side. The mediator says, well, what's the cost of that? Do you think you should live there for free? Is that fair? Well, no, but I can't afford to pay what the rent is. It would be $2,000 a month. I can afford to pay $300. And then the other says, well, that's not fair. And I'm like, well, how much time do you want to spend getting them out of the property? So again, you can have those kind of discussions where you allow them to see that. And it's not really legal. It's more, what can you guys live with to buy the piece? You know, you're talking about a loan situation. If someone just took the money, in other words, they've been living freeloading off their parents forever, you know, maybe the mediator says, you know, you understand you've been living off your parents for a long time, and you can understand how they're looking here. You go to the other side and you say, you understand that they're kind of they're financially strapped. Their parents been taking care of them, and they're doing it because you know you have a good job, and you have to understand where they're coming from. What could you live with? And again, because you don't want to denigrate someone in a court. You don't want to say that you're no good bum, you've never made anything of your life, because that's really what's going to come out. Or it comes the other way, you're arrogant, you think you're all that. So you're trying to avoid that kind of emotion. You want to kind of keep it neutral, allow people to have some self-respect. And so the second to last point there about knowing the pros and cons of the case, many times problems occur because people think they have rights that they don't. Get back to that situation of the loan. He's alone, he owes the money. No, he really doesn't. You know, he explained about the difference between loans and gifts. Someone feels like all of this dirty garbage, if only they find out about 10 years ago how he did this, this, and this, and this. I'm like, you know, that's not relevant. That's never going to come into court of law. They just care about this. But you can do that in a way to allow people to have the time to kind of explore those issues and then kind of get it out of their system, and then you can get to the thing that's at point. And then the family settlement agreements, again, or how you do it, you will memorialize it in some agreement between both sides to live with whatever that is. So maybe someone agrees to pay money over time or something like that.
Thank you again for watching this informative session. If you have any questions about what you just heard or want to contact us for legal or business consulting services, you can reach us at 630-230-8434 or email us at kmclaughlin@ma-lawpc.com. Have a wonderful day.